The terrifying ordeal aboard the cruise ship Grand Voyager made international headlines, but for those who lived through it, it became an unforgettable fight for survival. It was supposed to be a dream cruise across the blue calm waters of the Mediterranean. Warm winds, scenic coastlines, and the luxurious comfort of a modern cruise ship. But on February 14, 2005, that dream turned into a maritime nightmare. Passengers aboard the Grand Voyager would soon find themselves clinging to handrails, watching windows explode, furniture fly, and the ship lose all power, drifting helplessly in a raging sea. The Grand Voyager was sailing a Mediterranean route from Tunis, Tunisia, to Barcelona, Spain. The plan was simple, a peaceful journey through the heart of the Mediterranean, with stops in places like Malta, Messina, Civitavecchia, and Marseille. On board were 474 passengers and 313 crew members. The ship, operated by the Spanish company Ibrojet, was designed for comfort, speed, and moderate seas. But as the ship left Tunis and sailed north, it began encountering worsening weather. Unknown to many on board, a massive winter storm system was sweeping across the western Mediterranean, and the Grand Voyager was headed straight into its path. By the early hours of February 14, the ship was in serious trouble. Located roughly 60 nautical miles south of Palma de Mallorca, the Grand Voyager found itself surrounded by waves over 14 meters high, more than 45 feet, and battered by hurricane-force winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. As the ship crested a wave and plunged into the next, a massive wall of water smashed into the bridge, shattering glass and damaging the vessel's electrical and propulsion systems. Suddenly, the Grand Voyager lost all power, navigation, and steering. The ship was dead in the water, drifting helplessly in violent seas. Passengers reported scenes of chaos. TVs flew off walls. Dishes shattered. Some fell in their cabins. Others tried desperately to move through violently tilting corridors. The ship's roll angle reached over 20 degrees at points, dangerously close to capsizing thresholds. The crew issued a Mayday distress call immediately. What followed was one of the most complex maritime coordination efforts in recent Mediterranean history. The Spanish maritime authorities responded by dispatching rescue helicopters from Valencia and the Balearic Islands. The French Navy provided assistance with aerial surveillance. But perhaps the most critical help came from a British oil tanker, the Guillemot, which diverted course and sailed toward the disabled cruise ship to provide shelter and assistance. After hours of mechanical work, the engineering crew managed to get 2 of the ship's 4 engines operational manually. It was just enough to regain some steering and push slowly toward safety. By the following day, the Grand Voyager limped into Cagliari, Sardinia, under escort, its hull battered, its passengers shaken, but afloat. While the ship escaped destruction, the human toll was not insignificant. Over 20 people were injured during the storm, including 8 serious cases, broken bones, lacerations, and trauma from falling objects. The injured were taken to local hospitals in Sardinia. Once safely docked, the rest of the passengers were flown to Barcelona or Madrid on chartered flights. Interviews with survivors described a terrifying ordeal. One woman said, "It was like being on a roller coaster that wouldn't stop. I thought we were going to die." In the wake of the incident, criticism quickly followed. Some accused the cruise operator of knowingly sailing into dangerous waters. A handful of passengers even began preparing legal action, arguing that the captain had underestimated the severity of the forecast. However, maritime experts and the cruise company defended the captain's decisions. Weather reports had not accurately predicted the full intensity of the storm, and the sudden failure of critical systems had escalated the danger. The operator, Ibrojet, issued partial refunds, covered medical expenses, and offered compensation to affected passengers. Exact compensation figures were never made public. The Grand Voyager incident didn't make international headlines for long, but for those on board, it was unforgettable. This near catastrophe became a case study in maritime emergency response, showing how coordination, experience, and a bit of luck can make the difference between survival and tragedy. In an era when cruise vacations promise floating resorts and perfect sunsets, this story is a chilling reminder: the sea is still wild, and no voyage is ever truly predictable. After repairs, the Grand Voyager continued service under various names. The vessel was later sold and now operates under the name Chinese Taishan, performing cruises in Asian waters. The Grand Voyager tragedy served as a reminder that even in the age of modern technology, the sea remains an unpredictable and dangerous force. This incident changed approaches to weather forecasting for cruise ships and strengthened requirements for modern liner bridge construction. The story of the Grand Voyager is not just a tale of natural disaster, but also of human courage, crew professionalism, and the importance of international cooperation in maritime rescue operations. If you found this story as powerful as we did, like, comment, and subscribe. More real maritime events coming soon.